Okay, so here's our math homework for tonight. It's Module 5, Lesson 7, page S49. Problem number 1. It is a multi-step problem, but it is only one problem that we have to do tonight. So the problem's asking us to look at the graph. The graph below represents the distance in miles, y. Car A travels in X minutes. The table represents the distance in miles, y. Car B travels in X minutes. It is moving at a constant rate. Which car is traveling at a greater speed? How do you know? So it wants us to look at this graph here for car A and this table here for car B to determine who is traveling at a greater speed. So if you look here on our y-axis, we have the distance traveled in miles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then the time in minutes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's look at this a bit. So at 3 minutes, the car A traveled 2 miles. So let's see, if he traveled 2 miles in 3 minutes, I bet, it doubles. If you double 3 and you go to 6, he went 4. And I know that I can just double it because it says right here, constant rate. So basically, if I look, I then know that my slope, if I start at a point, I go up 2 over 3 is my slope. So I'm going to make myself a note. Slope is m 2 over 3. Again, because I went up 2 over 3. Okay? So I need to determine my slope for car B. That's going to be a little more tricky because I don't just have a graph where I can count out the points, but I do have a table. And we can use that handy-dandy formula that we've been using to find slope, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So it tells you right here, these are your x's, these are your y. So if we were to plot this, you would start at 15 and then go up to 12.5 to see x and y. You would look at the x-axis and then the y-axis. So let's plug in some points and kind of see what we got here. So y2, I'm going to use this first one and the second one. y2, actually, you know what? I'm going to write my points over here to make it a little easier on myself. 15, 12.5, and then 30 and 25. I tell you this all the time. I know it's extra work, but guys, I'm telling you, if you just label each one, it'll make your life so much easier. This is x1, this is y2, so it's our x coordinate and our y coordinate for our first point. Our x coordinate and our y coordinate for our second point. Okay, so now I can easily plug them in. So y2 is 25 minus 12.5 for y1 over 30 minus 15. And 25 minus 12.5 is 12.5. 30 minus 15 is 15. Okay. Let's see. That can be reduced, right? 35, 6. Okay, so here our slope is m equals 5 over 6. So we know our slope for both, and we're just trying to determine, we're trying to determine which one travels at a greater speed. So we're looking at fractions, made it a little tricky. But if you look at 5/6 and 2/3, that's our two slopes. 5/6 is greater than 2/3. Guys, we're going to get into fractions really soon, I promise. Basically, if you made the denominator here the same, we could make this a 6 by multiplying by 2, which means we'd have to multiply the top by 2. Having 5 pieces of a 6-piece pie is more than having 4 pieces of a 6-piece pie. Anyways, long story short, 5/6 is greater than 2/3, so we know that car B is traveling at a greater speed. So let's really impress Mr. Lewis and write a complete sentence explaining that, since it does say which car is traveling at a greater speed and how do you know. So we would write car B is traveling at a greater speed because, well, I found the slope. It's a greater slope. So that means instead of looking like this, it would look something like this. So it's reaching a further distance sooner. Okay? Because it has a greater slope. So my friends, I'll leave that up for a minute so you can copy that down. So what time is it? 5 minutes and 40 seconds to do our homework. All of it. Pretty impressive.